Hello, welcome back to the series on Catholic women. My name is Jenny Zahner, and today we'll be talking about servant of God Dorothy Day, who lived from 1897 to 1980. Dorothy Day is an American-born servant of God, and from the beginning, after her death, she has been a controversial character. She did not live the typical life of a saintly woman. In her early life, nobody who knew her would have believed that she could possibly be considered for canonization. She was very politically involved, and she was arrested on multiple occasions for picketing and protesting. She was held in jail one time for 30 days. Dorothy Day had strong ties to communism and anarchism. As a young woman, she also had many affairs and was a leader in the sexual revolution and a believer in free love. During one of these affairs, she became pregnant. At that point in her life, she knew neither God nor understood the sanctity of life. She chose her political activism over the baby that she had conceived, and she had the child aborted, a decision she would regret very deeply later in life. In her young life, her parents practiced no religion. However, Dorothy Day learned to read at a very young age, and she remembered sneaking up to the attic and finding a Bible. She used to sit and read it, even at the age of 5. She said she didn't understand it, but found a strange sort of comfort and a sense of devotion in reading it. She was extremely intelligent and did very well at school. She went to study journalism at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. While she was there, she heard a guest speaker speaking on religion. He said that religion was for the weak-minded. Dorothy knew that she was a very intelligent and capable young woman, and so she decided that she would be an atheist for the rest of her life since she wasn't one of the weak. Seeking work as a journalist, Dorothy moved to New York City and lived an uninhibited life while working for social change. During this time, she became on the forefront of the sexual revolution. This was when she conceived a baby and had it aborted. During this time, she had a common law marriage and again became pregnant. However, this pregnancy she decided to keep. And during this pregnancy, she started to pick up her Bible again and again found a strange comfort in it, especially in reading the Psalms. She also began to pray, but she said she didn't pray on her knees at first. She would pray working and walking around. But slowly and slowly, she started to find more and more comfort in Catholicism. She said she didn't know how to pray the rosary, but she would start walking around holding it, especially when she was serving others, and she found a strange strength and comfort in the mere presence of the rosary. She also started visiting a chapel while she was pregnant and began to pray while kneeling. She would pray for faith, which is the most dangerous prayer an atheist can pray. After the birth of her daughter, she named her Tamara Teresa. She chose the name Teresa after St. Teresa of Avila, after Dorothy had read some of her books. Dorothy decided that she wanted better for her daughter than she had had her own life. So she decided she wanted her daughter to be baptized and that she wanted to be baptized Catholic herself. However, Dorothy was still in a common law marriage, and the man she was with did not approve of this and had no interest in becoming a baptized Catholic. And so Dorothy was forced to choose between Catholicism or the man she loved. In an act of obedience that she describes as heartbreaking, she chose to leave the man she loved to become a true Catholic and a baptized Catholic. After her conversion, she began working more and more to serve the poor of America. While working, she met a man named Peter Morin, who co-founded the newspaper The Catholic Worker with her. This newspaper promoted Catholic social teaching and social justice, as well as pacifism. Dorothy also opened a house of hospitality in the slums of New York. This was to serve the poorest of the poor. They fed thousands of the poor in New York City bread lines. During this time, her Bible was her constant companion. Dorothy died at the age of 80 with her beloved daughter Tamara at her side. Nowadays, there are more than 200 Catholic worker communities that are committed to living out Dorothy Day's mission. Her mission of voluntary poverty, nonviolence, community, and hospitality to the homeless, the hungry, the exiled, and the forsaken. After Dorothy's death, since she lived in poverty, she had no money to pay for her own funeral. So the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of New York, who had paid little interest in her during her life, decided to pay for her funeral when he saw the huge impact she had made on the people around her. Dorothy was buried in a plain pine box, but hundreds came to her funeral, including many people who she had served in her life: the poor, the homeless, the exiled, the hungry, and the forsaken. One quote from Dorothy Day: "Our faith is stronger than death. Our philosophy is firmer than flesh, and the spread of the kingdom of God upon the earth is more sublime and more compelling." Although her life was difficult and controversial, although she wandered, Dorothy proves that no sin is too great for the mercy of God, and that even somebody with a dark past can be raised to sainthood. Thank you for joining us.